Red Sox made a huge signing. No, wasn't a free agent. It was a kid they already have locked up. Bello, the right-hander, went 12-11 with a 4.2 ERA last year. They signed him to a 6-year, $55 million extension that will take him through arbitration and into free agency. And there's a seventh year worth $21 million. Kudos to this young guy. I mean, 2017 coming out of Dominican. He was signed by the Red Sox. Now, we always hear about these kids from college over here getting multi-million-dollar deals. $28,000. $28,000. And this kid has turned into an absolute gem with the injury to Lucas Giolito, and they don't know whether he will pitch the rest of the season. It's one of the smartest moves the Red Sox could make by locking up the young right-hander. So nice job by the Boston Red Sox and Craig Breslow giving this kid a much-deserved extension early on so they don't have to pay him a bunch of money later.
Yeah, and it seems like this was all a part of the Giolito injury. And we're just looking at the rotation after that kind of broke and said, man, Bello's your number one now.
Yep.
You're going to rely on him. He's going to have to give you so many innings this year. That's already in stone. And for a depleted situation, like you're saying, you pay him now, a 24-year-old, give him a 6-year contract. He can re-up when he's 30 or 31 after that seventh. That's a good deal, especially for a number one pitcher. And I know he's not comparable to other number ones in the rotations as far as Major League Baseball teams go, but he's your number one, and you're going to have to use him. So good on the Red Sox to lock something up for at least 5 years.
Yeah, and listen, in terms of today's game, you can't look at 20 years ago, 30 years ago, because there will never be pitchers that do what they used to do. No one's ever going to throw 250 to 300 innings. No one's going to throw 350 innings. But you have to look at what Bello does, and he gets team wins. And he sticks around long enough to take pressure off the bullpen into the 6th and 7th inning. So for what you're getting, and, it's a lot of what you possibly can get, you have to kind of look at those kind of contracts, because if this guy has a couple of good years, you're taking him to arbitration, and then all of a sudden he's beating you $20-25 million a year. It's almost like a franchise label on a good young quarterback that eventually we're either going to have to pony up $100 million, or we could lock this guy up early, and that's what you're doing. So even if you throw in the 21, you're talking about $75 million, $76 million as opposed to $150 million. And in today's market, I think that's huge. And for this guy, that's way more money than he ever thought he'd earn in 5 lifetimes coming out of the Dominican Republic, like I said, for $28,000. That's generational money for a Dominican-born player. And congratulations, because now it takes the pressure off of him. Doesn't have to overthink things, and as long as they make sure that this guy stays healthy over the next 4 or 5 years, I think he could easily earn the money that he's getting every couple of weeks.
I was just trying to pull up some comparables from recent history. Your boy Hunter Green from the Cincinnati Reds got 6 years, $53 million just recently, which is very comparable, especially what the teams are both going through. So I think the price tag's right on the money there. And again, I don't know if this deal gets done now because of the Giolito injury the last couple of days, but something that I think, no matter what the situation, it is what it is now, it forced their hand to make a move.
17 team wins last year. I don't look at records anymore because they're meaningless with getting to the bullpen for the last 9 outs.
Yeah.
But to get 17 team wins last year for what he was asked to do, and at 24, that's when we used to get called up. I got called up at 24. So he's just now coming into his own. I don't want to put the ace label on him, but getting rid of Sale and Giolito and with Whitlock and some of these other guys that will be battling for a spot in the rotation, at least this guy, he's got one less worry, and that's about, my paycheck, buying a house in Boston, worrying about my family and that kind of stuff. This takes a lot of pressure off and eases that tension at least, so he can go out there and do his preparation and get ready for 30 to 35 starts a year. I think it's a great deal for this kid.
2 starters for the Red Sox were on the mound today in a spring training game against the Atlanta Braves. Nick Pivetta got the start. He went 3 innings, did give up a home run, 2 earned runs in that game. And then it was Tanner Houck who came in for him, did give up a home run where they lose 3-2 off of those runs. Did record a couple of strikeouts for both of those cats as well. The others in that rotation mix of where they fit in for the Boston Red Sox, Cutter Crawford, Garrett Whitlock, scheduled this weekend to pitch some spring training.
But it's nice. Obviously one of them had missed a day and had to get back in there and get his day of work in. So Pivetta starts, Houck comes in. They're both looking like they're going to be in the rotation. So it's getting your work in. Houck's been really good this spring so far. I like the 4Ks, the 4 versus 1 walk. Anytime you're 4-1, actually if you're 2 or 3-1, as far as pitching goes, you're doing a great job. So don't look at a whole lot of the other stats because, of course, Braves guys, probably a lot of these younger players, they're just up there swinging at everything kind of deal. But they brought their A team. Harris led off. Kellenic was in there. Riley played. Olson played. Osuna played. So, you got to face their A lineup your first couple of go-rounds for both of those pitchers. So that's a good work day for the Red Sox pitchers. I like what I see because normally you're facing a bunch of AAA and AA players, and it's really not a good judge of how you're throwing the ball. So that's actually a really good day for the Red Sox.
They were busting on Rodon. We saw this yesterday, just as far as his outing. It was more details came out. Aaron Boone made some comments about it. So did Carlos Rodon from the New York Yankees. He got the start yesterday, gave up a pair of home runs in that game. The one thing Carlos Rodon made mention that kind of perked up people's ears was his fastball is not where it's supposed to be, according to him. He was averaging around 95.5 last season. He hasn't hit 95 very much in his repertoire. 93 is what his fastball was averaging yesterday. Concerning. I know it's early, but concerning for Aaron Boone, as he said so. And Carlos is still trying to find it and get back to 100% before the season starts.
Well, that's a big thing. I mean, you didn't go out there in the free agent world and lock anybody up. Snell and Montgomery are still out there. That was some of the news I was going to bring, is that Jordan Montgomery, and this is, a lot of connecting dots and with the players of today and social media, right. But he unfollowed the Rangers and followed the Dodgers.
Whoa!
So, I don't make a lot out of that, but it's still Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, man, they're out there. I don't know what you're waiting for. And a bigger piece of news is that Trevor Bauer will face the top prospects of the Dodgers in an exhibition-type game against the Asian Breeze team from Japan. So obviously he still has a lot of connections in Japan. He's still trying to break into the major leagues. So this is basically a showcase for one Trevor Bauer to say, hey, F you teams if you don't want me. I'm going to either play in Japan, because I think that's where he would go back to, or even Korea. As their season's a little bit different as far as the time of year when it starts, and show that, listen, I'll blow away your top prospects, and I'm thinking that he's going to do well against them. I don't know how he's going to do against them, but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he's ready to blow away AA and AAA top prospects in this exhibition game. So good for him to listen. I'm going to force the issue, and you're going to have to see me in this game.
Been 14 months since he has played baseball in the major leagues, released by those Dodgers. That's what's really interesting on this story. The Dodgers, of all teams, the Dodgers, that team?
Crazy. It's more of a kind of travel team that's got a lot of top players that are trying to get into Major League Baseball or play in Japan. Over here, I would call it an independent baseball team in our minor leagues, where there's a lot of former major leaguers, guys that were close, like maybe played in the big leagues a little bit for a cup of coffee, that get signed and they have no affiliation to a team, but they're still top players. And so it's listen. It's not about personality at this point with Trevor Bauer. You know what you're getting. it would, and I'm not saying any team should sign them or have to be forced to sign them, but when you're looking for pitching, man, and a lot of these guys are bottom of the barrel guys at this point, other than Snell and Montgomery, I'd give this guy an opportunity to prove himself. He's talking about taking the minimum for a 1-year contract. I don't see where some really bad team doesn't take a chance on Trevor Bauer.
So this is going to be on the back training fields at Camelback Ranch. The Arizona Diamondbacks in the Cactus League typically play here in this area. The Dodgers are not going to send any major leaguers, so there's not going to be a Bauer Shohei or a Bauer Mookie Betts at bat to sink your teeth into. I don't even think much of it's going to be televised. Probably going to have the most cameras.
Probably wouldn't be televised. But again, you did a lot of this, even when I played, where teams are coming. It's just like playing a college team, like Northeastern versus the Red Sox. I'm sure the Yankees do minor league college games and just to get a game in and see where some of their pitchers are and give them work against live hitting. But anytime you can get Trevor Bauer on a mound against live hitting, that's at least one more video that he can show to teams and be like, hey, see, I still got it. And I'll take the minimum just for an opportunity.
This team reminds me of, remember the basketball team that played a lot of teams in preseason? I just remember IU and Purdue always matching up with them when I was a kid. The Athletes in Action. Athletes in Action used to come to your town to play your basketball team and get smoked 150 to like 25. This sounds a little bit like that with Asian baseball. The team is called Asian Breeze. It is a self-described tryout program that charges players $2,600 for a 20-day barnstorming trip in the U.S. Its rosters typically feature a mixed bag of talent from fringe pro prospects to former youth players with little chance of extending their careers. The Asian Breeze.
I think it's Bingo Long and something All-Stars. It reminds me of that.
Oh, the barnstorming tour, Bingo Long and the
movie with Richard Pryor.
Great movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
Kurt, you've never seen this one? No.
This is a great movie.
The Traveling All-Stars and Motor Kings.
Yeah.
Bingo Long and the Traveling All-Stars and Motor Kings. Check it out.
There you go.
1976.
Wow.
Great
Check
movie.
it out. See it on whatever place you can check out these older movies and stuff, and you'll enjoy it.
Billy D.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones.
Yep.
Richard Pryor, as Dib said. Stan Shaw. Rico Dawson plays Willie Mays.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
some cool stuff. But listen, it's not like I'm trying to sing the praises of Bauer, man. I just think the guy got a raw deal as opposed to some of these other guys in other sports that they get another chance. And this guy is just basically blackballed forever.
32-year-old Mike Zunino, after 11 seasons, is calling it a career. He is a career 199 hitter. He will not be praised for any of that, I am sure, but a longtime Ray who has had a lot of success in this league and has had maybe those 199 career averages don't look good, but I think that there are some beautiful hits in the postseason amongst that 199 career average.
Absolutely, and probably a great teammate. As catchers go, handling pitching staffs, did a great job on all the different places that he stopped along the way. But he probably recognized, listen, all the injuries that I have and my body's just not responding. It's probably time right now to make a different way of making a living.
I did not know he was a Guardian last year. It was news to me.
No, I just listen. He reminds me of a lot of guys that I played with. Not a lot of batting average, but he did hit almost 150 home runs over the course of his career. And like you said, he had some big hits, some big home runs, but more importantly, caught a lot of postseason games, and that's why they wanted this guy around. You want guys that can call a good game, be good receivers, and so that's more or less how I'll remember Zunino. God, 32 years old.
Yeah. 32 years old. I didn't know he was a Seattle Mariner for a long time before the Rays really put him in the forefront and gave him pretty much a starting position every single day. And you got to think of the pitchers that they've had, the Cy Youngs that they've had. He's been a part of those.
Oh, yeah. 6 years with the Mariners and, 4 years with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, 19 to 22 for Rays.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice career. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll do dibbles and bits, and then we're going to be giving away some more tickets at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. We'll be right back on the Rob Dibble Show with Ben Darnell on your afternoon drive, Kurt Kaplan on the ones and twos, keeping us on the air. Thursday night ice. Don't forget the hockey game tonight, and we're doing it all on Fox Sports Radio.